Hey folks, Mark here again. I want to do a revisit on failing the personality test. Now, I read a thing about a quote unlawful arrest, where this guy was hanging around a school. Somebody at the school called this guy, or called the cops. Guy shows up, and it immediately goes aggressive, right? And they arrest this guy. He causes all kinds of chaos. They throw him into the cop car, and he starts kicking, and he causes damage to the cop car. Well, it turns out he was on probation for attacking a cop, right? So that's strike one against him. Well, strike two was when his probation officer said, tell you what, charge him with damaging government property. Well, this went all the way up to, I believe, the Georgia Supreme Court, where it was deemed an illegal arrest, and therefore them charging him with destroying public property was dismissed. And people are like, see, that proves you can resist unlawful arrest. Well, not really. So there's ways to fail the personality test by being an obnoxious, violent asshole, right? That is one way to fail a personality test. There is, however, another way to do it, and that is to be an elitist, okay? That's the people who look at the cops and go, well, don't you have something better to do, like catching criminals, right? Or another common one is, well, I pay your salary. Okay. I mean, basically, these people are Karens, but with the cops. This is also very much a thing of, do you know who I am? Now, the truth of the matter is, there is degrees. There's something to be said for this. I used to live in a town called Tarzana, and Van Nuys or Encino Bowl, I can't remember the main drag. Well, this was the main drag. I lived up in the hills, and one thing going up in the hills, I would, on several occasions, a black Mercedes. I mean, whoever was driving this Mercedes was seriously hammered. Okay, there no ands or for buts. This is like, I'm amazed the driver didn't hit anything, but most people had driveways, so But anyway, one night I came home and I pulled off the freeway, and I looked up, and there was the black Mercedes, surrounded by cop cars, and a very well-dressed woman. Matter of fact, she was like, if I remember right, she was in a mink. Right, very drunk, sitting on the bus stop, and I'm like, yes, they finally got her. Yes, yes, yes. Well, as I'm waiting at the light, I watch a taxi cab pull up. They poured this drunk woman into the taxi cab. A cop jumped into, one of the cops talked to the driver. Another cop jumped into the Mercedes, and they both took off, right? So yes, it does happen. Okay, I'm making no excuses for this, but that kind of power comes from years and years and years of connections. I don't know who that woman was the wife to, but it was a powerful person, okay, to get that kind of treatment. So this isn't just, you don't get this treatment just because you live in the right neighborhood. There's all kinds of political connections and involvement and favors and all this stuff. So it does happen. But if you don't have that kind of connection, now is not the time to be snotty with the cops. Okay? And I've seen things like the son of the Denver mayor got pulled over, right? And it's like, do you know who my daddy is? You know, I'm going to have your job. Okay. Saw other videos where, it was like a DA or something, got pulled over for drunk driving, and it's like, I'm going to have your job. There is all sorts of ways to really screw up. And when you fail the personality test by being your self-appointed elite rather than actually having the connections, if you think you have the right to be snotty, right? Like, I've known a number of lawyers who are arrested. It's like, yeah, well, I'm a lawyer and I know, and they start, well, they talk themselves into getting arrested. Because the cop can find something. If he wants to hang something on you, he can do it. Make no mistake. But, one of the videos that got posted on my wall about an angry cop is there was this guy that started calling the cop a shithead. He wasn't driving, but it was like, yeah, well, this shithead has no reason to pull you over. Cop goes postal. Okay, it happens. But this guy, he ended up in and out of the cop's car like 3 times. And it's like, well, you're a shithead. And it's like, never mind the LAPD pulling a Rodney King on this guy. I mean, at that moment, it was sort of like, you should wash that guy's mouth out with soap. Right? I mean, this... But people who feel entitled, people who feel I'm special because of what I do, often fail the personality test through being insufferable pricks, smug, right? Like, all right, well, whatever. Okay, that they're too damn good to deal with the cops, right? So don't fail the personality test because you think you're above the cops. He's doing his job, okay? And right now, his job is you. So be careful about not just being obnoxious to cops, but being snotty to them because you think they're better than they are.